Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be discussing the process of the Hermès Spa because I have finally gotten back the bag that I dropped off almost a year ago. This is my vintage shoulder Kelly from 1986. I found it last December, dropped it off at the Hermès Spa, and it finally made its way back to me last month. I'm going to be going over what they have done to the bag, the price breakdown, the timeline. Of course, this is a case-by-case basis. Hoping this video is helpful for anyone that is looking into the Hermès Spa in case they are eyeing a bag that looks like it might need a little bit more TLC. Okay, so a little bit of a background story. I wish I took HD videos of this bag when I got it. So I had seen it on The RealReal, I think around November, I'm pretty sure, or maybe early December, because I remember texting it to Cassie and she's saying, why haven't you bought this bag yet? And I told her it's in really rough shape. The bag was priced at $9,000 and I just wasn't sure if I was willing to shell out that money for a bag that looks like it could literally fall apart. And include some photos of the bag. In photos, it was already looking rough, which meant that once I saw it in person, it was probably going to look even rougher. So I popped on over to the Soho boutique for The RealReal. I talked to someone who brought the bag in so that I could look at it in person. And that's when I decided to purchase it. And upon looking at it in person, it was definitely in tough shape. The strap was all cracked. It just wasn't being taken care of. I don't know if it was left in the sun, but that leather had really dried out. The hardware was all tarnished. And I definitely was very apprehensive about pulling the trigger. It's almost like flipping a house. You don't know if it's gonna be a good investment or not. I decided to pull the trigger anyways. The person gave me like a slight discount, so I got the bag for $8,900. This bag in pristine condition in the pre-loved market, I have seen upwards of $16,000. I decided to take a chance on it because it was essentially half of what I was seeing in the resale market. I had heard about the Hermès Spa at this point. I know they do amazing work, and so I decided to just go for it. I got the bag. I had used it like maybe once. I think it was last year's family Christmas party, but I was definitely very, very careful with the bag. My biggest apprehension with this bag and purchasing it was that it might have been touched up by a place other than Hermès. If that's the case, Hermès will not work on the bag because they don't know what things were used on it and they don't want to do any further damage to the bag. And so that was a risk that I had to take. I did speak to a manager at The RealReal. They reassured me that if Hermès wasn't going to take it, they will accept the bag as a return. So I figured I had nothing to lose at that point. This was actually the last thing that I purchased from The RealReal, and I purchased it on December 24th. That was my little Christmas gift to myself. I stopped by Soho, I tried it on, decided to take it home with me. After all of the holiday festivities and just recovering from the holiday festivities, I finally brought it to the Madison Avenue boutique on January 7th. It was analyzed and they let me know that it would have to go off to Paris, and there are some things that they can do at the Madison Avenue boutique, which obviously would have a shorter turnaround time, but because it was getting shipped off, it needed to be analyzed and all that stuff, I knew that it was going to take a good amount of time. I think the quote was around 8 to 10 months for the amount of work that this bag had needed. And I was fine with that as long as it was going to come back, you know, as good as she could get. And on February 6th, my actual birthday, I got an email that it made its way to the workshop and that they were going to start analyzing it. It had said, your Hermès object has made a stopover in the workshop. Our craftspeople will take care of finding the best remedy and come back to you soon. So at this point, they are going to be assessing the bag to try and figure out what it actually needs. This is called the diagnosis stage. About a week and a half later, on February 16th, I got the quote of what it would cost to do repairs to this bag. So they gave me a full breakdown of what it needed. They were going to waive the fee for cleaning and makeup and finishing of this small bag. I'm not sure how pricing works for other bags, but for this one, they waived it. Maybe it's because there were so many parts that actually needed to be fixed. They replaced the side straps, which are these guys over here. I can tell how new and fresh that leather is. That one cost $480 USD. So keep in mind, I'm comparing this to what this bag would cost pristine in the pre-loved market because they do not make this bag anymore. And then the replacement clasp is going to be $230 USD, which is this guy over here. The hardware was all tarnished. It was in tough shape. Then the replacement flap plates, which are these guys over here, was going to be 75 USD. The replacement shoulder strap is probably the most expensive. And this strap was probably the thing that I was the most worried about, because the strap that came on this bag was all kinds of cracked. Like from end to end, it was just lines through and through. Like that probably felt the crustiest to me. They said that that was not going to be an issue to replace. As long as the body of the bag is in good condition, these pieces seem to be easy or common to replace. And so my total quote for the repair was 1,557 USD. I have always loved this style, and I thought it was just a beautiful shoulder bag. Perfect evening bag, because the Mini Kelly definitely does run a lot smaller. Just to compare, this is my Mini Kelly in box. The main difference is that obviously this bag is much wider, therefore I can fit a lot more. Obviously this is a shoulder bag. This one I can crossbody. After I got the quote, at this point I was able to approve or deny this repair. This quote also did not include me requesting to restamp, because this part of the bag was actually completely faded, and I had emailed them asking if they could add that back in, and they said that that was no problem. So I emailed them back with that request. They gave me an updated quote, and the restamping of the Hermès label was free of charge. After I had approved it February 16th, I think the next status was them actually working on the bag. That did not start until I believe early March, because I think I was going by month intervals. Drop off was early January. They received it early February, and then they started working on it early March. At this point, they were getting to work on the bag. They said it's in good hands, and at this rate, it was a waiting game. And I remember checking this periodically. Forgot to mention that when you get the bag, you get an email confirming the order, and there's a link that you can track the progress of your bag. I was checking this constantly month after month. They completed working on the bag around October. It wasn't until early November, November 4th to be exact, that the bag finally made its way back to the Madison Avenue boutique. Luckily, I was in the city already that day, a few blocks away, and within 20 minutes of me getting an email that the bag was back at the boutique, I was able to pick it up. All of the new hardware was just wrapped in the plastic that you peel off. The hardware that remained the same is this one, and up here, although they did obviously redo the strap, so this is all new, this is all new, the restamping is new. And there was also a huge scuff or mark down here that they were able to treat, and this is the bag and how it came back to me. Once I got to the boutique, I was able to take a look at it and make sure that everything was all good. And then that is when I paid for the repairs. Payment doesn't happen until you receive that bag back. And I also received a card where they said that they had worked on the bag. It just says, "Thank you for entrusting our maison with the after-sales care of your Hermès item. Our craftspeople cared for it with the utmost attention, and we are pleased to return it to you. We thank you for your trust and look forward to seeing you again soon in our store." And then I got a receipt of everything that they did to the bag. I'm just glad that there is a record of this bag being repaired at Hermès, so that in case there are any other issues, I can just send it back. Again, Hermès will only work on a bag if no other places outside of their atelier has worked on it. Very happy with this process. It did take a while, but it was so worth the wait to make sure that it was Hermès that was taking care of this bag and just restoring it to where it is now. So in case anyone is eyeing a bag that looks like it might need a little bit more TLC, bring it to Hermès, see if they can work on it. I have enjoyed toting this bag around. It's definitely more of a spring, summer if I wanted to wear it on my shoulder, but for special occasions or evenings, this is a great little bag. I'll show you what fits inside here, because I did use it yesterday at the Fashion File party. I just have my wallet in here. I have sunglasses, band-aids because I was breaking in new shoes. I have my lip products. We've got an oil, my Torrid Balm, and my Tarte. And then I just have like my headphones in here and a receipt. What did I do? My iPhone 15 Pro Max does fit inside this bag with a case. I don't believe that's the case for the mini. So that is all for me and my rundown of my experience with the Hermès Spa. Highly recommend considering the Hermès Spa in case you are eyeing a piece that looks like it might need a little bit more TLC, or you have a vintage piece that maybe got passed down to you that looks like it could use a trip to the spa. Thank you again so much for watching. Your love and support mean the world to me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.